Alright everybody, what's up? Welcome back. On this video here we're going to get into doing a compression test and a cylinder leak down test on my Can-Am X3. If you don't know how to do one, stay tuned. I will kind of walk you through the steps on how to do one. Alright, first things first, you're going to need to remove your intercooler. It's going to sit up top. You have your little slide cover. You have your air box lid over here. My car's a little different. It's a little modified from what the stock ones look like, but if you remove your slide plate here for your vent, for your air direction vent, your intercooler will be below. You'll have two bolts here, two bolts in the front. You'll be able to, and then obviously clamps to take your hoses off, and you'll be able to remove that and get out of the way. And then you'll have a rectangle here to be able to get down inside there and work. Next thing, you'll need a compression tester gauge, and then you will also need the hose that goes in. It's going to require this adapter here for the spark plugs if this thing will focus at all. But that's the thread of the spark plug that's down inside there. So next step would be pull the plugs out. I mean, I've already got my plugs out, so I'll just get them all set out and set aside. Ideally you want to do these tests warm on a warm motor, but these, I mean, obviously this vehicle's been sitting for a few weeks now, getting repairs done on the front end. If you watched my live the other night, and just right now we're just getting ready to prep it a little bit to go out to King of Hammers here next month, and so that's what we're doing all this for. Like I said, it should be done on a warm engine, but I mean, this is cold. This is all we got. On the compression test, you're really looking to see and make sure that everything's kind of in line with each other. You could put a little bit of oil down in the cylinder and, you know, act like it's a warm engine. Seal things up a little bit, but I'm mainly just looking to make sure it's more uniform and close across all three cylinders. So next step, we'll thread in these this adapter and do some cranking. Then we'll thread the gauge in. We'll start here, the cylinder closest to the stator. Thread them in by hand here. Then you hook up your tester, make sure everything's good. And this first cylinder is going to be, looks like about 130 psi. Not bad on a cold engine. They can do this same thing in the middle cylinder. It's not a bad idea before you take your spark plugs out. You're going to do this to go down inside there and blow a little compressed air in there. I already did. That way, don't make sure no junk falls down in your motor. All right, and this one's at about 120. All right, we'll do the last one here. And that one was also 120. So they're all pretty close together there. The other one might not have been quite 130, but it was close. So, I mean, they're all within 10 PSI. I call that a win. So next step would be doing a cylinder leak down test. Alright, now a cylinder leak down test is going to be a little different. My kit here, I've got a Corn well set up. I mean, you don't have to go out and spend the money on a Corn well one, especially for probably how little you guys will be using it throughout the year. I do mine 2 to 3 times a year just to make sure the engine's healthy and all that, just because you don't want to travel all the miles that we do to get to racetracks and have a hurt motor, and this can definitely help you find something ahead of time. So this main thing is getting yourself a gauge. You'll need compressed air. So the first step I do is I always take and I will hook my compressed air up and take and make sure this here gets exactly to 0. And the way you do that is you will take your air hose here and kind of chalk it in, let it out a few times. See, I'm a little past there, so we'll have to loosen it up. A little too much. Go right in the middle, and we are pretty much right there on 0. There we go. So now my gauge is set up, lock the regulator, so it is good to go. Next step, you'll thread in your tip just like you did on the compression test. So we'll do the same as we did before. We'll start on the stator side and then work our way over. All right, and the easiest way I have found over the years to find top dead center is I will take a screwdriver and drop it down in. Make sure you make it all the way down inside the hole where the spark plug goes, and let it sit there. And then I will rotate the engine by turning the primary until it gets to the top. Right about there. That is where I would call top dead center on that. Now, we don't know if that's top dead center on compression stroke, which is what we want, or if it is exhaust or intake. So there is a chance that we will need to do this all again. So, but the only way to find out is by threading it in and hooking up the air to it and seeing how it all is. Hopefully we're off on this one and you can actually see what I mean by being off. So what we'll do here is we'll hook up the gauges here, and it shows a 40% there, but I know that's wrong. What I need to do, because you can hear, it's hard to hear over my stupid heater, but I can hear that it's leaking past the exhaust. So we're either on the wrong stroke or we're not fully closed here. So I will take this back off, and what I do is I will grab a breaker bar and a socket, put it on the primary. I've got a breaker bar on there now. So what I will do is I will hook the gauge back up on here and move this breaker bar and see if it changes. And see, it is starting to change. So if I take some air off of this, now we'll try this again. Back up. Oh, see how that jumped there? So now we're down in the green here. So now let's take that and it looks like we're going to get down to right around that 10% mark, it looks like. That definitely passes. We'll follow the same procedure on the next cylinder. First we'll pull out this here, and then we'll find our top dead center. Like we are. Now we're on this middle cylinder here. We'll take and we'll put our hose in. Hook our hose up, and we are 100% leak. So that means we are on the wrong top dead center. If you can see that right there, it's showing us 100% leak down. So, and I'm not sure you can hear it over my heater, but we are on the wrong top dead center. Not just a little bit off, but totally wrong. So we will unhook this. likely in the right spot this time, so we will take and my gauge here. You kind of want to keep an eye on that too. The gauge kind of come off through a little bit, so we will bring it back down. Hit it with some air a little bit. Push it come back, and it came back. So we're good there. Just from moving it around, expansion, contraction, heat, all that stuff. We'll just want to kind of keep an eye on it. I mean, there's a pretty big spec. I want to say it's between 20 and 30% even on Can-Am standards to actually fail this. So yeah, it's holding at 15 there, but if I start to move it down here, it will go down to the 10. So we'll call that 10 to 15. I mean, still definitely within the green with that spec. Now, for the last one. Here is the last one. Let's see how close we are. And that one you can see the same, we're right, able to get right down about 10%. We're holding it, there we go. So, all right, so now when I'm done with my pressure tester, I always try to release the tension off the spring inside of this regulator, because there's a spring in there, so I just back it off, lock it back down. That way, next time, you always want to re-center it or readjust it to 100 or to 0 next time you use it. Every time. So kind of I'm going to bring you around here and kind of show you the setup I had with the primary and my breaker bar and all that. Just kind of show you. It's a lot easier to do this type of stuff when you've got two people, but that's me here in the shop. So I've got a breaker bar on there with a shallow 22 millimeter, and then I've just got my jack handle here. So what I normally do, the noise you hear when I do it, I bring it down here and I tuck it underneath that there. That way, when you put air to it, it can't come up and smack me or smack my fenders or fly off or something like that. So it's kind of holding it in place. And then I add the air to it, and then I come over here and I will adjust up or down, and that'll actually move the primary to get the crankshaft in the right position for the piston to have all the valves closed, have, you know, tighten compression stroke, all that stuff. So that's your main thing. You want to make sure you're able to do this or have somebody do that for you. I do suggest having something long. If you don't have a long breaker bar, having something like this on there's a cheater. That way it doesn't come up smack your helper if you have a helper, because you know you're just throwing 100 psi right into that cylinder, and I mean it definitely could cause some issues. All right, well that's pretty much concludes this video. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You know, compression test, leak down test. You know, we're right in that 10% area on all the cylinders, within 10% on all of our cylinders for compression too. So I'd say this motor is good to go. This motor isn't a stock motor. It's stock dimensions, but it does have CP pistons, Carrillo rods, and some head studs that I'm not real happy with. I found out looking at my receipts when I went to go have these things retorqued when I was going to retorque them, and not a brand that I would have normally put in there. So we must have either had something that wasn't available at the time or not, but I do have some ARP studs that I will be putting in the next video. So if you want to follow along, subscribe to the channel, hit like, hit the notification. My next video will be doing head studs on this motor. You know, we're a lot of the way there now. All I got to do is pull the valve cover, pull the cams, and I'll show you the specialty tools and and all that stuff that we use when we take these apart. So if that's something you like to see, the type of content that you do like, make sure to subscribe. I'm gonna be doing a lot of that on the channel this year, along with racing, in-car, live streaming, in-car recording, trail riding. And we got to build a mount for that radiator. I'll take you over here real quick. I'll get in depth this more, but this is a rear mount radiator kit, originally sold by Hess. It's their CBR. The fan to it's up here on top. I had a small leak, couldn't find out where it was coming from. They got worse throughout the year. Ended up taking it all apart, taking it out, pulling the fans off, doing a compression test with my radiator test kit, and found that both of these corners, this corner and that corner, were both leaking. I found a cooler repair shop here in my town locally, so what I was able to do was drop it off with them. A couple $100 later, he went through and he welded everything, re-welded all of it, and then he put this epoxy in there. I'm not sure if it's going to focus very well for us, but there's an epoxy there on both sides. Basically what that does is that's going to help it and prevent it from happening again. These radiators, it's all aluminum construction. Obviously you want that for strength, but also you get vibration. These things are mounted to the chassis. I had mine mounted a little less than 45 degrees, so it was tilted forward a little bit more. That could have been part to do with it. I don't know. It's just part of racing. Stuff, you know, does go bad. You can't expect to get warranty every time you turn around, and you know, if something breaks, or you know, so, especially you know when there's no one really at fault. So I paid to have it fixed rather than getting a new one. They pressure tested it. It holds pressure. I think they put it up to like 75 pounds, or whatever it is, 90 pounds, whatever their big coolers are. That's what their pressure test is. So it'll hold plenty of pressure. I'll go a little more in depth on that once the time comes. But we're gonna end this one here. If you like seeing the how to do stuff, I do have a full installation video playlist on my hydro install for hydro steering from Natural State Racecraft. If you want to view that, you can go ahead and click on one of these wherever it's at, and that'll take you to that playlist there. Otherwise, click the subscribe button, throw me a like. That way, you know, even hit the bell so you get notified next time I put a video out, because the next one's going to be the head studs. And you can follow along on my journey this year. And like I said, we're going to be doing some stuff out in Hammers. Yeah, looking to have a whole lot of fun this year, be real competitive. Yeah, just follow along and I'll take you on a journey. Thanks for watching.